The rain fell softly on Park Avenue that November evening. The kind of gentle rain that makes the city lights shimmer like watercolors on wet pavement. Robert Mitchell, 58 years old and CEO of Mitchell Financial Group, stood beside his blue Aston Martin, watching the world rush past. His three-piece suit was perfectly tailored, his shoes polished to a mirror shine. Everything about him spoke of success, except his eyes, which held a weariness that no amount of money could cure. Across the street, sitting against a bus stop shelter, was a young woman. She couldn't have been more than 25. Her light summer dress was thin against the autumn chill, and she sat barefoot on the cold pavement, her long blonde hair damp from the rain. She wasn't asking for money. She wasn't holding a sign. She was simply there, looking at nothing in particular. Robert had walked past countless people on city streets. You learn to look away in New York. But something about this girl stopped him in his tracks. Maybe it was because his own daughter would have been about her age now. He crossed the street slowly, his heart beating harder than it should. As he approached, he could see she was shivering slightly, her arms wrapped around her knees. "Excuse me?" Robert said gently. His voice was kind, the voice of a father. "Are you all right?" The girl looked up at him with eyes that were distant, almost hollow. "I'm fine," she said quietly. "Just resting." Robert noticed her bare feet. "Where are your shoes?" She looked down as if just noticing they were gone. I don't remember." Something in Robert's chest tightened. He'd seen that look before, in his own mirror years ago when he'd lost his wife and daughter in a car accident. The look of someone not quite present, floating through a world that had become suddenly meaningless. He did something then that surprised even himself. "I have a strange request," Robert said, pulling out his wallet. He counted out $100 bills and held them toward her. "Here's $1,000. But I need something from you in return." The girl's eyes widened slightly, focusing for the first time. I'm not. No, Robert said quickly, his voice gentle. "Nothing like that. He paused, feeling foolish but continuing anyway. "I just need you to hold my hand. For a little while, just sit with me and hold my hand." The girl stared at him, confusion crossing her face. "That's all?" "That's all," Robert said. "I know it sounds strange, but I have my reasons. And you look like you could use a warm meal and a safe place to stay tonight." There was a long moment of silence, just the sound of rain and distant traffic. "Okay," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Robert sat down beside her on the cold pavement, not caring about his expensive suit. He placed the money in her hand, then gently took that same hand in both of his. Her hand was small and cold. He held it carefully, warming it between his palms. They sat like that for a long time, not speaking. "Just two people on a rainy street holding hands. My name is Emma," she said finally. "Robert," he replied. "It's nice to meet you, Emma." "Why did you want to hold my hand?" she asked. Robert was quiet for a moment, watching the rain. "My daughter, she used to hold my hand when we crossed streets. Even when she got older, into her teens, she'd still reach for my hand. It made her feel safe," she said. His voice caught slightly. "I lost her 7 years ago. Her and my wife. Car accident on a night just like this." "I'm sorry," Emma whispered. "And you?" Robert asked gently. "What's your story?" Emma was silent for so long he thought she wouldn't answer. Then slowly the words came. "I lost my parents last year. House fire. I was at college. They were home for the weekend. After that, I just couldn't anymore. Couldn't study, couldn't work, couldn't think. Lost my scholarship, my apartment. Started drifting." She looked at their joined hands. "Funny thing is, I don't even feel sad anymore. I just feel nothing." Robert squeezed her hand gently. "I know that feeling. I lived in that nothing for 3 years after my loss. Built my company bigger and bigger, thinking work would fill the emptiness. It doesn't. What changed?" Emma asked. "I wish I could say something profound. But honestly, one day I just realized I was tired of being tired. Tired of the numbness. My wife, she wouldn't have wanted me to live like that. My daughter wouldn't have wanted it either." They sat together as the rain continued to fall, two strangers connected by grief and a simple gesture of human touch. The money, Emma said eventually. It's too much for just holding your hand. It's not payment, Robert said. It's a gift. Tomorrow, I want you to use it to get a warm hotel room. Take a long shower, order room service, sleep in a real bed, and then, if you want, call this number. He handed her his business card. My assistant can help you find resources. Therapy, job placement, housing assistance, whatever you need. Emma looked at the card, then at Robert. For the first time, there was a flicker of something in her eyes. Not quite hope, but maybe the memory of what hope felt like. Why are you doing this? She asked. Robert smiled, a real smile that reached his eyes. Because 7 years ago, I was sitting on a park bench trying to find a reason to go on. And a complete stranger sat down next to me and asked if I was okay. Just that simple question, that small moment of human connection, it mattered. It didn't fix everything, but it mattered. He stood slowly, helping Emma to her feet. Come on, let's at least get you out of the rain and into some shoes. There's a hotel 2 blocks from here. As they walked together, Robert still holding her hand like a father would, Emma said softly, "Thank you." "No," Robert said, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you. You gave me something tonight, too, a reminder that connection still matters, that we can still reach each other, even in the darkness." At the hotel entrance, they finally let go of each other's hands. "Will you call?" Robert asked. Emma looked at the card in her hand, then at this kind stranger who'd seen her when she'd felt invisible. "Yes," she said. "I think I will." Robert watched her walk into the warm lobby, and for the first time in years, he felt something like peace. Sometimes kindness isn't about fixing everything. Sometimes it's just about showing up, about holding someone's hand in the rain, about reminding each other that we're not alone. That's enough. That's everything. The end.